Hi there. This video is going to be a very brief introduction to our recall system, aimed particularly at GPs, AMPs, paramedics, pharmacists, those of you who are prescribing medication, ordering bloods for patients. The first thing I want to show you is what happens now if I start a patient on a new medication that might need some immediate monitoring. So for this patient, I'm going to put them on levothyroxine. And let's start them on 50. Sorry, parts of the screen. There we go. So you may have already started to see this popping up for you. Do you want to arrange a TFT check following thyroxine initiation? For this one, you've got two options for timeframes. You could do 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Not indicated means it's really not necessary. So that might be, say, it's already been started in secondary care, or they've been on it for a while, they're just transferring practices. No doesn't record anything. 9 times out of 10, I would imagine you'll want to pick one of these options. So let's go for the 6 weeks. And that is all that you need to do. So if I come to the tab journal, you can see the entry here that it's put in, TFT in approximate 6 weeks, added to recall system. What our system will then do is when it gets to that time frame, the patient will drop into reports to be invited a few weeks before that 6 weeks, and the system will show whoever's taking the blood tests what's needed and why. Because the medication's on repeat as well, again, there's nothing else to do in terms of annual monitoring. Our system will just automatically cover that as long as it's on repeat, and they'll get invited for their annual TSH. If you've really just started with the system, it might be worth just double checking with management or whoever's sort of overseeing the rollout of it in your practice. They may want you to still do whatever you currently do, but I'd recommend trying to get everything up and running quickly, make life easier for yourselves, so that you're not doing all the sort of manual steps. That's the first thing, and hopefully pretty self-explanatory and saving you some time and some clicks. The other big thing is what to do when you want to order some one-off blood tests for a patient. Now, we've got a dedicated template for it called Request One-Off Tests. If this hasn't been added on your toolbar yet, we would really recommend either adding it yourselves or, again, asking someone in your team to add it for you. If it's not on your toolbar and you want to access it, this icon up here takes you to our recall overview. The recall overview kind of shows you what's currently going on for this patient, so you can already see what things they need. On all of our templates, we've got this kind of sidebar where all the buttons always take you to the same things. So you can access it like this, but it's something that you'll probably use a lot, and so we'd recommend putting it on your toolbar. In this screen, you can tick the bloods that you want, and effectively what it will do is it will add it to the list of bloods that are already showing as due. It will make sure the patient is invited for those. If they don't attend, it will follow that up with various invites and things. Part of the reason for doing that as well is that if there are other bloods that are needed for, say, medication monitoring, the patient will be brought in and all those things can be done together. One of the reasons for developing this in the first place was we got a bit fed up of people coming in, seeing a HCA or phlebotomist for the bloods that, say, a GP has requested, and then 2 weeks later being invited in for medication monitoring. A couple of things to be aware of as well. If there's particular kind of groups of blood tests that you want to order, you can pick these options here and it will add both, say, that as the reason for the test and those lists of bloods. You can put other lab tests that aren't in here. In here you can free text them in, or there's kind of presets you can add. You can put in clinical comments, like the reason for taking it or whatever it might be. And again, that should get added onto the ICE request or WebV, whatever it is you're using. You can also future date these. So for example, say you wanted these in, 3 months' time. You'd actually probably put the date at 2 months. And the reason for that is that you would, you need to allow time for the patient to be invited in and booked in. So when that date is reached, that's the date the system will say this blood test is needed. It would then wait until they're then invited, which would probably be later that week. Then they obviously need to get booked in and so on. So you might copy and paste those. Unfortunately, you have to put the date in all the bloods you want. There's no way around that, sadly. And you would OK that. Did I tick the blood test group? No, let's just do that for now. And again, in the journal, you'll find that it will put some codes so that our system can work. It will future date those bloods for you. And again, that's all you need to do. You don't need to send a task or set up a recall or anything else. It takes a little bit getting used to. There's a bit more to it that we can show you in some more in-depth training. But you can see here those bloods have been requested and future dated. One last quick thing to show you. If you do want them now and you've not got the patient in front of you, or maybe they're on the phone, let me just clear off the future dates. You want them to get them booked in now. There's an option down here, tests needed now. If I tick that and OK it, it will then, in this instance, because we can't text this patient, it's generated a task. For most patients that aren't test patients, have got phones and so on, it will generate a preset message to text the patient and say, please contact us to book in. If your practice has set it up, it can also be configured to say, here's a link, book yourself straight in. There's obviously loads more to the system. You'll doubtless have questions that we want to answer, but for now, those are the essentials for you to get started. Thanks.